Hello again, this is Joanna from Joanna the Medium, and these are going to be messages for May 2016. First and foremost, I wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in and for watching, subscribing, and sharing. Thank you so much for your comments. I really appreciate them, and I want to make sure that every month I say how appreciative I am of you watching these, because without you, at the end of the day, there's no point for me doing this. My May readings are a little bit late. My apologies. I have been trying to find the time to make them happen and to produce them, and it's just been a crazy April. And speaking of April has been a very transformative month. I do believe I mentioned this in April readings, but my understanding is that May is supposed to be a lot more peaceful, with a lot more pieces of the puzzle coming together, allowing you to feel much more at peace than you have been in the last 3 or 4 months. So I guess since the beginning of the new year. Please keep in mind, these are general readings. If you would like a private reading pertaining especially to you, or if you want to connect with a loved one, you can reach me at info@joannathemedium.com, and we can schedule an appointment via Skype, phone, or FaceTime, or if you're in town, in person. If these don't make sense to you, if your sun sign doesn't make sense to you, please look at your other signs, your rising sun and your moon sign, as I'm finding through your comments that some months, some of these make more sense to you than other times. So it'll help to create a much clearer picture of what's happening with you. Without further ado, let's proceed with May 2016, and I will see you shortly. And again, thank you so much for tuning in again. See you in a moment. Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Scorpio for May 2016. I have laid out the cards. They are face down, so I don't know what they are. And like before, I'm going to ask Spirit for a message before we proceed with the cards. So let me just give me one moment. Patience is a virtue that does not come easily to many. Yet patience in itself is a virtue that is necessary for your growth. It is not by mistake that you are where you are, but it is not your destiny to be stuck in this place. It is only up to you to change the outcome of your tomorrow, as long as you stay patient with yourself. And as I said this, I also heard the word self-healing. Okay? Now I'm going to turn the cards over, and I always hope that the cards do corroborate that message, because it was a channeled message, because it just makes it that much more special. Okay, so let's start. In the first position, you have the card called Triumphant Success. This is, I believe, in the traditional tarot deck called the Ace of Swords, but please don't quote me on it, because when it comes to tarot cards, I am absolutely not good. This is a mental card. However, this card was shown to me in reverse. Okay? For those of you who have asked me to keep the cards a little bit longer so you can see, I absolutely will oblige. And I will just talk while I'm holding it for a bit. As I'm looking at this card, I hear the word, you are stuck. You are stuck in your mental ability or inability to move forward from your past. This stuckness is something that you have held on to for many, many, many years. And I see the number 10. This could be 10 months, 10 years, 10 weeks. I want to say 10 years first and foremost. And then I hear the words decades. This is a part of you that remains stuck largely to your inability to look within. And he's saying to me, it is a punishment to yourself for doing so. He's not saying that you're being punished. You are punishing yourself for by not being able to look within. And then he says to me, what are you scared of? What are you scared you're going to find? Maybe what you're going to find is something that is going to enlighten you, and that enlightenment will allow you to move forward. So why don't you look? The second card, you'll notice that right now I'm doing a bit of a channeling, which is, I'm not reading cards, I'm literally channeling. I have a very strong presence of spirit with me, so you'll probably notice that I speak probably a little bit differently than I normally do, but I am totally cool with this if you are, and I actually love when this happens because it feels absolutely amazing. The second card represents your past influences, and these are influences that are still affecting you, and in this case, keeping you stuck. The card is called accelerated movement or motion. These are your passions. This is your spiritual self. These are your desires. These are your drives, your passionate drives. This is the vehicle, your inner vehicle, that keeps you moving forward, that makes you strive for things, that makes you want to be better. 8 is also a number of stability. But the card was shown to me in reverse. And the reason why this card was shown to me in reverse is because something has happened, something from your past that has held you back at the fundamental level of who you are. Perhaps you come from a place when you were where you were a child, and something was done to you, something you saw, something you observed, something you feared, and whatever that was just slammed you down. And when I say that, it doesn't necessarily mean physically, though it could be for some of you. But you got so scared that you were unable to shake it off for the most part, and it has remained with you up until this point. He's saying to me, whatever happened was not your fault. It doesn't mean you were not meant to go through this as a spirit in order to experience, but it is not your fault, and you are not meant to go through this torture for the rest of your life. It is also, incidentally, the number 8, he's reminding me, it's August, yes, so maybe for some of you who are born in August, this applies, but there's more to it than this. Whatever happened, this incident or series of incidences, is that the right word? I think so, you know what I mean. These situations have formed your stability or the basis of who you are. And if it was predominantly being fearful, that basis of you have become fear-based, or you have become fear-based. And he's saying to me, that is not the way life was meant to be for you, but you are unable and unwilling to look at it and let it go. And then he says the word self-punishment. What are you punishing yourself for? Maybe it's something you're not even aware of. Maybe it's something in a subconscious mind that you need to dig in deeper into and realize that you are punishing yourself for something you couldn't have helped, or something you had no control over, or someone you had no control over. He says the rest is up to you. From this point forward to until the day you move into the other side, the rest is up to you. How do you choose to live? And what do you choose for yourself? Do you choose to stay in the mental prison? Or do you choose to have a beautiful beginning? Which is not the case right now. The future card is represented by Suffering in silence. This is also a card of your mental state, or it's a card pertaining to your mental faculty. Okay? This is a lady sitting on a rock, looking at a stormy weather. She's very much by herself, and there is a feeling of resignation within her. There's also a feeling of no one understands me, and perhaps maybe she doesn't understand herself. And I hear the word suffering, and that's suffering in silence, yes. However, this is number 9. 9 in this particular case signifies to me that there is a potential for you to end this once and for all. And remember, May is supposed to be a much more peaceful month for many of you, if not most of you. But the peace comes from within, and it has to be attained from within first. When there is inner chaos, outer chaos will come to you. It's just the energy you project. If you don't look within and decide to end your inner battle, you are still going to be stuck in this mental suffering and feeling alone and like no one understands you. No one can really understand you if you don't understand yourself. On the other hand, as I say it, there's a part of me that goes, well, that's not necessarily true, but because, I'm very intuitive and I can see things when people don't even have to say it. I can see a person for who they are. I can see a person for who they are and what's bugging them without them realizing that themselves. But for those who don't have those abilities, certainly people cannot understand you unless you don't understand yourself. And you certainly cannot change aspects of yourself if you don't know what needs to be changed. And he says again the word self-punishment. Perhaps you are committed to punishing yourself. And in that case, nothing or no one will ever be able to take that away from you. And the suffering, he says, you have suffered for far too long. It is not meant to be that way for you. And he says to me, this is meant to be empowering. This is not meant to be a slap on the hand. Don't do this. That's not what it's meant to be. It is meant to empower you, and it's meant to shake you out of your rut to help you realize that maybe that is true. There's no maybe about it. It is true. You are not meant to suffer. But you need to realize that. The reason behind all of this, or any subconscious blocks that are contributed or have contributed to all of this, the card is called throat chakra. For those of you who don't know about energy centers, throat chakra is about here. This is our energy center. It's the throat. It's the center, our center that allows us to speak up, speak our truth. And the reason why you're still going through this is because of your inability to speak up, either to speak about what happened, to admit to yourself that things have happened and you're holding on to them, or speak up for yourself or stand up for yourself. Sorry about the noise. Your inability to speak your truth is what is holding you back in this prison. But again, no one can force you to do that. It is something that only you can decide that you get to do or don't do. He says inner suffering is a choice. And I know for some of you, you will completely disagree, and that's completely okay. I am simply saying what I am being told to say. Inner suffering is a choice. If you look in the other way, and if you stop looking this way, you might see something you haven't seen before that is brighter. Now, the card that represents potential. If you look at yourself, you speak your voice, if you speak your truth. If you decide to stop the inner struggle, if you decide to stop the inner prison, the card is called Temptation. This is a major arcana card. Look at this card. It feels like a struggle. It feels chaotic. It feels unsettled, and it feels scary. But the card was shown to me in reverse. He's asking me to turn this again and just point that this particular card, right, this picture, this gentleman, there is a key somewhere in the distance. And it's interesting because it's in this direction, as I was saying earlier. This key is a metaphor for key to a different way of being, different way of thinking. It is also illuminated, which signifies this key has the potential to illuminate a new path, to show you something that is illuminated when you use this key. But this person is unwilling to take that key. He knows it's there. He knows it exists. But it's like he's struggling within himself and he's being pulled away from it and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And for some reason, he just doesn't want to take that opportunity. But because it was shown to me in reverse, it says that if you decide to look within, if you decide to stop the inner struggle, if you decide to speak about either what happened or your truth or speak up for yourself, not in anger. This isn't talking about speaking in anger, lashing out. This is speaking about what bothers you. Not in a blame way, but in about how you feel. If you do all this, the potential of all of this is end of struggle. And he says, who doesn't want to live in peace? For those of you who this message is for, I can feel the inner struggle within you, and I can feel it under my ribcage. He says it's been there for years, yet you choose to suffer, and I wonder why. And he says, life is not meant to be a constant struggle. Challenges are part of your journey, yes, but you are meant to move past them, grow from them, and move to a lighter, more illuminated path. And he's saying to me, you're struggling with that. You're struggling to go into that illumination for whatever reason. Perhaps you're blaming yourself for something. Perhaps it's something that... stubbornness, I don't know. Look within and see if this fits. And if it does, decide if this is where you want to be. I hope this makes sense to you. I wish you nothing but luck in the month of May. There's a tremendous potential for you to change. And if you are what I feel and see you are dealing with, there's a potential for you to find peace, inner peace. But it is all up to you. I wish you best of luck again. I look forward to seeing you again in June. Please let me know if this makes sense. I love your comments. If you would like a private reading, of course, to figure out exactly what we're talking about here, specifics, contact me, absolutely. If this doesn't make sense, look at the other signs because they may make more sense for you this month or create a bigger picture of what's happening. Until then, have a wonderful month of May, and I will see you again in June.